of yesteryear. Now, when the Hebrew date, I believe, the 25th of Sivan, Chav Hey Sivan, is going to mark the Hilula of famous Kabbalist. His name was Rabbi Avraham Barzani Z'tl, one of the great rabbis of his time, especially from Kurdistan, and very much take various different grandiose positions, especially when he would come inside the land of Eretz Israel. He lived between the years 1899 to 1973. Let's explore a few of the highlights of the famous rabbi's life. Now, he was born in an area in Kurdistan called Arbil, and his father was a great rabbi, Rabbi Yaakov Barzani. He was born in 1899, and the famous family of the Barzani family was a rabbinic dynasty. It's reported over. Many of them were shochets, were rabbis in Kurdistan, I think for about 400 years, it's chronicled over. And according to some chronicles, he was a 22nd generation of rabbis from the Barzani rabbinic dynasty, let's just say in itself, which is absolutely phenomenal, and making them one of the longest serving, let's say, rabbinic dynasties across the world without a doubt. He was part of the congregation of the Jewish community of Arbil, and he would be ordained as a shochet and as a bodek, an examiner and a kosher slaughterer. In Arbil, I think is 17 years of age, and I think shortly afterwards he would make his way to Eretz Israel, obviously traveling down towards Baghdad on the way. Very interesting enough, and would learn Torah from one of the great Kabbalists, especially from Iraq, happened to be his rabbi, Rabbi Yehuda Fataya, really, really great rabbi. And he would write various different shiurim down, and I think will get married to a marriage connected to Rabbi Yehuda Fataya through family, a close relative of his, if I'm not mistaken. Now, he would write down much of the shiurim, the Torah novelties of his, let's just say, of the great rabbi, his rabbi. I think come with the year 1934, he would make Aliyah, I think just before. He would actually settle in the Beit Yisrael neighborhood in Jerusalem and would learn Kabbalah over there and he'd be part of, I think, various different yeshivot inside the city. He would know how to write Kamiyut. We've spoken about that with regards to Rabbi Yehuda Fataya. And he was let's just say, Mufak, he was an expert with regards to Kabbalah. And he was close to various different rabbanim, come to him for advice. And he would learn also with various other rabbis, including Rabbi Ben Zion Abba Shaul, and the famous Rabbi Salmon Mutzafi. Rabbi Salmon Mutzafi was a posek and a Rosh Yeshiva of Bnei Zion in Jerusalem, place spoken about on various occasions for a famous school over there. Rabbi Avraham would be part of, let's just say, the Arbil Jewish community over there, Les Markazit B'Kila Arbilim, and he would, I think, write various different manuscripts, especially on Kabbalah, but I think it did get lost, if I'm not mistaken. Now, he had very great Talmidim, including the famous Rabbi Azriel Mansour, who was a Rosh Mostot of Shuvei Nafshi, I believe, which are obviously, I think, based in Jerusalem, if I'm not mistaken. Also, very interesting enough, he had connections with many, let's just say, many different organizations, Torah-related organizations. And I think Rabbi Azriel Mansour would not just be the head of Nafshi institutions. I think it was actually based on Rabbi Yosef Chaim Sonnenfeld Street, and I think in the Beit Yisrael neighborhood, respectively. Let's explore his family life. He got married. His wife's name was Rabbanit Lulu. I believe she happened to be the niece, if I'm not mistaken, of Rabbi Yehuda Fataya. They would have 6 children, 2 daughters and 4 sons. Now, 5 of the 6 children reported over were part of the Herut Yisrael, let's say, party at that stage in time. I think this was before the formation of the State of Israel. They were more active, if I'm not mistaken. And they had I think some of the family members were part of, let's say, various different Zionistic activities that actually took place at that point in time. Remember, 1948 would be the first year where the creation of the current State of Israel actually came about. Now, for example, one of Rabbi Avraham's sons was someone named Moshe Barzani, and another one was Yecheskel. I think he was part of intelligence operations, let's just say, I think possibly around the time period of 1950s. Now, Shaul, another one of his sons, was also, I think, active with regards to this Herut movement. He would serve in the British Army, I believe, in the Second World War, and would actually end up being captured by the Germans, but would actually return to fight, let's just say, after he managed to escape the captivity. It's reported over. His brother was the rabbi of the city of Erbil, Rabbi Yitzchak Barzani. Rabbi, I believe we spoke about on this series already, and Rabbi Yitzchak Barzani also very much part of the rabbinic dynasty. I think he himself lived between the years 1892 to 1980. He would go on to become a head of Jewish court, let's just say the head rabbi of the Jewish Kehillah from Erbil in Kurdistan. And was really, really a great rabbi. His brother happened to be. So that is also very interesting. Okay, he passed away, as we said before, in the year 1973. He was buried in the Iraqi section of the Mount of Olives, Har HaZeitim burial plot, near Rabbi Yehuda Fataya. So that's what is also chronicled over, which is very interesting. I believe also, just to add on, just so that we'll know, I believe his wife, Rabbanit Lulu, passed away in the year 1992. That would have been about nearly 20 years after he passed away. She was buried, I think, close to him, right next to him, if I'm not mistaken, just to explore a few more of his life, a few more tidbits. His father's name was Rabbi Yaakov, as we said, and his mother's name was Rabbanit Oznat. And I think his wife also was known as Lulu and Margaret, if I'm not mistaken. Just summarize, he had 4 boys, Benjamin, Yecheskel, Moshe, and Shaul, and his daughter's name. One of them was Rabbanit Leah. She happened to be the wife of Alberto Leon, if I'm not mistaken, and Shoshana, who I think her husband happened to be some of the name, or happened to be Ovadia, if I'm not mistaken. His brother was Rabbi Yitzchak, and his sister was Rabbanit Sarah. Among his teachers includes a standout great rabbi, the Mukubal, Rabbi Yehuda Fataya, who was, I think, the author of the Torah book called the Rochot Misforot, if I'm not mistaken. Now, most notably, as we've stated already inside this class, his main student, let's just say, was a famous Kabbalist, Rabbi Azriel Mansour, another very great rabbi, and we can say much more within regards to him. You can find information on various different websites, especially with a calendar, and I would recommend that everyone to do that. I believe one of the yeshivot he would study in was Or Zerah Tzaddik Yeshiva, which was obviously a yeshiva named after the famous prophet Yecheskel. He would be regularly learning with Rabbi Ben Zion Abba Shaul, author of the Or Letzion, and was close to Rav Salmon Mutzafi. Naturally, he would organize Torah and Talmud classes for, let's say, craftsmen, and he would teach, let's say, individuals the various different hidden teachings of the Torah, which I also have to point out. It's very interesting. He'd be a scribe. He would actually write Torah, Tefillin, and Mezuzot. He would brighten everyone's face. It was reported over. And anyone that had pain, people that had pain, would actually turn to him to place his hand on the piece of the pain, let's just say. After whispering his prayer, special intentions, the pain went away. He sometimes gave them amulets that he had written. Very interesting enough. He would give over amulets. He was an expert with regards to amulets. Reported over. We said that Yehuda Fataya was, and he was very modest. He was humble and behaved simply in general. He would avoid, let's say, public confrontations, and was just anivut. The level of pureness was very great. But he was a great rabbi of his time, and we've spoken about this on various occasions before. His sons were part of this Herod party. Many of the sons were, and he was a famous Kabbalist. Rabbi Avraham Barzani Z'tl passed away on the Hebrew date, the 25th of Sivan, Chav Hei Sivan, naturally. So I hope this was thought-provocative and informal, and please learn more and follow the channel and subscribe. Wishing all a great day. Thank you very much for watching, everyone.